Greetings, this is Srijan Daniel. Today we are learning about From the Garden to New Jerusalem. Today's lesson title is The Signpost, meaning is some of the Bible stories points to Jesus Christ, and we will do more signposts, so keep an eye on it. So let's go into the signpost. The story of creation not only tells us how the world began, but also sets up some amazing events in our history and in our future. We saw how Lucifer started war in heaven and how Lucifer tempted Eve by disobeying God. Eating the fruit had a consequence. Eve said to the serpent, God has said, you shall not eat it, nor shall you touch it unless you die. A consequence that is so terrible, imagine that we would have ever be paid. Lucifer celebrated by his terrible consequence because he thought that he would win the war in heaven that he had started and become the ruler of the world. But God knows the story that was far from over. It is true that no human is valuable enough to pay our disobedience to God, but God does. His own son, Jesus, was born as like a human being. Adam was the son of God, created by God. By the sin was made by Adam and Eve. God needs to offer his only begotten son, Jesus, a son that was only part of God's image. Lucifer was afraid of Jesus, so he set out to destroy him. When Jesus was arrested on false charges and killed on the cross, Lucifer thought that he had won. But he had forgotten that God has predicted it before all this would happen. Remember what God told the serpent in the garden? He said, and you and the woman will be enemies, and all our descendants. One will follow. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. When God was talking about you shall bruise his heel, he was talking about Jesus dying on a cross. By our disobedience, we are supposed to die, but God's Son died in our place. But the story didn't end there. Jesus conquered death. He had won the war for us. And when God told the serpent that that the son of Eve will bruise his head, that means God was warning Lucifer. There was a final battle. In that battle, Jesus will defeat Lucifer forever. And the Lucifer will be not in the world, will be thrown into a fireful pit, and then God will bring us to a kingdom just as Adam and Eve lived in the garden, free from fear and full of love. Our story may have started with disobedience, but it has completed with birth, death, resurrection, and return of Jesus Christ. Amen. This is a message from God, and Shalom.